You might have even made the comment yourself. Oh, my parents didn't teach me about, or they didn't have this type of class. I don't want my daughter's generation to have that same feedback. So I will shout it to the mountaintop. Look, let me tell you how to get wealthy. Let me tell you how to not rent, how to, have a debt-free life by the time you're 30 or 40 years old versus waiting until you're 70 or 80 to decide you're going to buy your first home.
Today, we are sharing the importance and the how-tos about building equity through real estate, and we are joined by Marquetta Deville of Deville Realty. My name is Monickie Scott.
Hey, and this is your girl, Felina B. Flossin. Thank you for joining us. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment below on your biggest takeaway from today's topic, or feel free to share your expertise. Hello, Marquetta.
Hello, Felina.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on the 5-Star Living Show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to share with your audience today.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to jump right on in it. Let's talk equity. Okay.
Okay.
Please share with the audience what equity is and why it is important.
So, equity is your fastest way of creating wealth. Home ownership is one of the top ways to create wealth. And so what equity is, it's the value from what your home is minus what you owe. That number in between is your equity. So I like to say that number in between is your wealth.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So if you could break that down, you're teaching building equity through real estate. What does that look like?
So again, like I said, equity or real estate is the fastest way to build wealth. So we try to teach the community. Let me say this. Our passion in our company is that the community bridges the gap in home ownership. Currently in the state of Nevada, we'll just talk Nevada because that's where we are, right?
Yeah.
So in Nevada, only 31% of African Americans own homes. So our goal is to empower the community through knowledge, through resources, and to help them build generational wealth. And a home, unlike many other things, is something that you can pass on to your children's children. For example, my husband, his mom owned land in Tunica, Mississippi. And that land came from his mother's grandparents.
Wow.
So now today that his mother's grandparents, her grandparents, her mother and her have passed away, he still has over $200,000 in land, in wealth, sitting in Tunica, Mississippi, because his grandparents knew creating generational wealth would help their grandchildren. So today we won't sell the land because that's where his generational wealth started, right?
Yeah.
So, and we in the African American community, we have to get used to doing the same thing. We can't leave our children bills, right?
Yeah.
We can't. Let me just say this. I had an uncle that recently passed away. And my mom had 9 siblings. So each one of us, instead of him having land or life insurance and different things like that, we're figuring out how each of us, the siblings, the nieces and nephews, family, friends, how we're going to bury him.
Yeah.
But could you imagine if he had a home that he could have just took $10,000 out? It may have been a 5 to 10 day process, but he could have had a very nice home going, not only in Beaumont, Texas, where he lived, but also here in Las Vegas. So those are ways that you can use your equity. You can use it to send your children to school. You can use it. Me and my husband have decided that we're going to buy our next home this year. Okay. So we're going to take the equity from our current home and put it down toward our next home. So home prices are up, right?
Yeah.
Who is going out and they're just going to buy a $500,000 home?
Yeah.
Well, because we were smart 5 years ago, we could take $200,000 out of our current home and put it toward our next home and still have the mortgage payment that we have now, even though the housing market has gone up.
Nice.
Very nice.
Okay, then. I'm loving it.
So we know who you are. We know your expertise. Can you share with our listeners, why are you considered an expert in this space?
So I have a passion for people, and I say real estate is just my path of doing what I really love, helping people, helping the community, educating the next generation. So I'm kind of considered an expert in the real estate market because I'm doing what I love and I'm sharing what I love with my community. I recently went to Jackson State. I'm not a realtor in Mississippi, right? But my expertise could be used even in Mississippi.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel that I am considered an expert because I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about my community and I'm passionate about the next generation not having the same downfalls that my generation had. You and Monickie and Felina, you probably know, you might even made the comment yourself. Oh, my parents didn't teach me about, or they didn't have this type of class. I don't want my daughter's generation to have that same feedback.
Yeah.
So I will shout it to the mountaintop. Look, let me tell you how to get wealthy. Let me tell you how to not rent, how to, have a debt-free life by the time you're 30 or 40 years old versus waiting until you're 70 or 80 to decide you're going to buy your first home.
Yeah.
And with that being said, it's never too late to buy your first home, though.
Right.
Never, never too late. Let's talk to the homeowners for a moment. Are there specific steps that homeowners can take to build equity in their home?
There are. So a lot of times we get our first home and we're just excited to be homeowners, but we're not knowing what golden egg we actually hold in our hand. As a homeowner, I recommend if it's your first time, go to the first time home buyers classes. Or myself, I've started to put together a brunch every third Sunday of the month. And this brunch isn't just for first time home buyers. It's for people who own homes, people who've owned multiple homes, or as well as the first time home buyer. And the topics that we'll discuss will help you on your path through home ownership. We're going to learn the power of your equity, the power of investing, the power of whatever, it's going to be amazing. And like I said, that brunch is going to happen every third Sunday of the month. And it'll be great. You guys will love the information. I have some dynamic speakers lined up for just the first 6 months. I'm excited for it myself. I feel like I'm very knowledgeable in the real estate market, but every coach needs a coach. So come out and join us.
Absolutely.
And that's here in Las Vegas, right?
Yes, it'll be here in Las Vegas.
For people who want to buy in Las Vegas?
Well, you can buy in Las Vegas. You can sell in Las Vegas. You can, yes.
Okay.
Whatever real estate related, whether it's commercial or residential, whether you're trying to buy or sell, we'll be covering those topics in this meeting. How to take your equity and invest it into your forever home. How to take your equity and invest it into your investment properties. You just want to make your money work for you. And we'll be learning that in these brunches.
Okay, wonderful. So let me circle back for just a moment. Talked about building equity in the home. Are there ways that homeowners can increase their property values to make that equity even go even further?
Yes. Number one, take care of your property. And I don't mean mop the floors, blow the yard. I mean, take care of your property.
Yeah.
And it comes with education. know what maintenance needs to be done and when it needs to be done and how often it needs to be done, and any kind of minor up. Let me say this one too. If you're a realtor, sell real estate, right?
Uh-huh.
If you're a podcast host, host your podcast. If you're not a handyman, don't don't go trying to fix these items at your home. That's not your expertise, right? Let's
You mean I can't just go on YouTube and like follow what that person is saying and end yeah.
Right.
Yes. YouTube University is great. But if it's not your expertise, you decrease the value in your home because it's not done right.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to go back and have a professional do it.
Yeah.
So, for example, my husband and I, my husband's a jack of all trades, first of all. He was a handyman before he became a real estate agent. But he knows how to stay in his lane. So we had our floors done. We had our cabinets done. We had some painting done, all in which he knows how to do. But we hired a licensed professional to do it that's licensed and bonded in the state of Nevada. So if anything went wrong with any of those items, we can call them back. And they'll take care of it. Versus if you say, I'm going to lay these floors and now they're crooked or buckling,
Right. Yeah. You end up spending more money in the long run.
Correct.
And you have an increased no value nowhere, right?
Nope. Not at all.
Absolutely. So when it comes to investing in real estate, what is something that an individual needs to know before investing?
I feel like as an investor, a lot of times our investors that don't even know they're investors are first-time home buyers. A lot of times you qualify for a certain dollar amount, but people miss the boat because they're living above their means based off of your bank statements, your income, your debt to income ratio. The lender's going to tell you what you can afford. Now, if you don't agree with that number, I get it. We all have our own taste. But as a first-time home buyer, what I've taught my children are, at 21, buy your first home. Regardless whether you love it or not, buy that home. And then when you're like 24 or 25 and you've gained some equity, that's when you become the investor. Now you can invest into a fourplex. And a couple of years later, invest into another fourplex. And we're investing with the equity out of that first property that you bought. So maybe it is $150,000, $200,000 condo. But you're robbing yourself when you're bypassing those properties and saying, I'll just continue to rent because I don't like anything that you're sending me, or I don't like anything in this price range.
Yeah.
No, you're going to continue to rent for 4 to 5, maybe 10 years, and maybe forever. And you're missing your opportunity to create generational wealth by investing. So be smart. And, if it's something you can change in 3 to 6 months, I get waiting. But if you're going to pay rent for another year, send me your money. I like to shop. Let me rent you a property in your budget. But if you want to waste your money that much, trust me, I like to shop. Right. The fashion show, Las Vegas Boulevard has a whole lot with my name on it. And I would love for someone else to pay for it, okay?
Absolutely. So is there such a thing, or what type of properties would be considered as, say, a bad investment?
It really depends. I would say the only bad investment is not investing.
Okay.
I went out with some clients today and I told her, I said, you know what? I know you want this move-in ready home. And maybe the ugly home isn't for everybody. But one thing I have to say about our community is we made some boss moves during the pandemic. Not everybody went out and bought Jordans. I believe the news said I can't even remember the statistic, but so many people quit their 9 to 5 and became entrepreneurs during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were smart. They understood that this was an opportunity, whether it was a PPP loan, a stimulus check, unemployment with record numbers. You've never made that kind of money before, right? A lot of people were smart with their money. So I was telling her, don't go for the beautiful house. Go for one you can put like $5,000 or $6,000 into, and you're going to increase your value by that $5,000 or $6,000 that you put in, more than if you go to this beautiful home. There's not much you can do. You're not going to increase your value very much by just moving in that home.
Yeah.
So be smart with your money. Go get this home that needs a little bit of work, put that little bit of money in it, and let it quadruple what you invested in 3 to 6 months. So that's my rant.
Absolutely. Good.
That's a good rant. It's a rant we need to hear. We're almost out of time. Can you give just a few tips for some first-time home buyers before you go?
Yes, first-time home buyers. All you need to know. Here's 10 quick steps. Number 1, know my name. It's Marquetta Deville with Deville Realty Group.
Okay.
And let me handle step 9 through 10 for you. Okay.
I love it. Marquetta Deville. Remember that name.
That Marquetta Deville Realty Group. Remember me. But no, seriously, know your credit. Educate yourself on your debt to income ratios. Save some money. Save. And please, one of the biggest things that's holding a lot of people back right now is the fact of the inconsistency in their jobs. They understand that the pandemic happened, but that was 2 years ago. You've not had a job for 2 years ever. It wasn't just the pandemic. So stay on your job, pay attention to your credit scores, and save some money. And there's programs out there that will assist. Maybe you don't make a lot of money, but there's programs out there for everybody. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or, you just sold a property, you got behind during the pandemic, there's programs out there that would help you. But number 1, protect your credit. And number 2, call me. If you have any questions, we always have some type of event to educate the community. We always have a lender on standby ready to answer your questions. And we also have a team of over 45 agents that can assist with any question you may have real estate related. Again, whether residential or commercial.
Absolutely.
Tell one more time. Oh, I'm sorry. You have one, Felina?
Oh, no. I wanted her to share with the listeners how, they can find you online so that they can.
So my husband's like, you need to be Marquetta Deville. But anyways, I am on Facebook at Marquetta Deville. I'm on Instagram at m.j._Deville. Again, m.j._Deville. And I am on TikTok.
Hey now.
MJ the Realtor on TikTok.
Absolutely.
And if you're old-fashioned and you just want to call, 702-884-2618.
Can you tell us that again?
Yes. 884-2618.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Marquetta. We enjoyed your expertise.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So we thank you all for listening, liking, and subscribing. We believe in you and wish you success on your 5-star living journey.
Yes, join us on Facebook in the 5-Star Living Show Inner Circle group. And remember, laugh more and love more while taking care of your mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely. The 5-Star Living Show is sponsored in part by FlossieB.com, Meditate with Mo, Flossie Flicks Photography, Monickie.com, and Flossie Locks. Until next time, keep 5-star living.
Keep 5-Star living, y'all. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.